The Lion's Farewell. The sun hung low over the small village of Mambwe, casting long shadows across the dusty compound where the people had gathered. A somber silence filled the air, broken only by the occasional sniffle or murmured prayer. At the center of the gathering lay a still, white-wrapped figure, the body of Django, the village's beloved healer. Django had been a man of quiet strength, known for his kindness and his uncanny ability to soothe both human and beast. Years ago, he had found a wounded lion cub near the river, its leg caught in a poacher's trap. While others would have left it to die or killed it out of fear, Django had carried the cub home, nursing it back to health. The lion, whom the villagers called Simba, had grown under Django's care, but unlike the stories of tamed beasts, Simba had never been caged. Django had taught him to hunt, to survive, and when the time came, he had let him return to the wild. Yet Simba never truly left. Every few months, the lion would appear at the edge of the village, watching from a distance as Django went about his day. The villagers had grown accustomed to his presence, though they never fully trusted him. But Django would smile, walk toward the great beast, and place a hand on his massive head, whispering words only the lion could hear. Now, Django was gone. The funeral procession had just ended, and the elders had finished their prayers when a ripple of gasps spread through the crowd. From the tall grass at the edge of the compound, a massive, tawny figure emerged. Simba. His golden eyes were fixed on the white-shrouded body, his heavy paws leaving deep imprints in the dust. The villagers tensed, some stepping back, others reaching for sticks or stones. But Simba did not roar, did not bare his teeth. His head was low, his tail limp. He moved with a slow, deliberate sorrow, as if the weight of the world had settled on his shoulders. Step by step, he approached Django's body. A woman stifled a cry as the lion stopped beside the lifeless form. For a long moment, he simply stood there, his breath stirring the edge of the white cloth. Then, with a sound that made every heart in the crowd clench, he let out a low, mournful whine, a sound no one had ever heard from a lion before. It was a sound of grief, raw and unguarded. Simba lowered his massive head, nuzzling against Django's shoulder as if willing him to wake. When there was no response, he let out another soft whimper, then circled the body slowly, his nose brushing the ground. He paused at Django's feet, then his side, then his head again, as if memorizing every detail. Then the impossible happened. The great lion lay down beside Django's body, curling himself around it protectively, his head resting near the healer's chest. A collective breath was held. No one moved. No one dared. Minutes passed. The sun dipped lower. Finally, with what seemed like unbearable effort, Simba rose. He gave Django one last lingering look, then turned and walked away, his steps heavy. He did not look back. The villagers watched in stunned silence as the lion disappeared into the tall grass, the last rays of the sun painting the sky in hues of gold and red. That night, the people of Mambwe spoke in hushed tones of what they had witnessed. Some said it was a sign that Django's spirit had been honored by the king of beasts. Others wept, knowing they had seen something rare and sacred, a creature's love as deep and true as any human's. And far beyond the village, under the vast, star-strewn sky, a lone lion lifted his voice in a roar that echoed across the savannah, not of fury, but of loss. A farewell to the man who had been his savior, his friend, his only family. Simba's massive frame disappeared into the tall golden grass, his silhouette blending into the fading light. The villagers of Mambwe stood frozen, their hearts heavy with the weight of what they had just witnessed. No one dared to follow him. No one even spoke. For days after Django's burial, whispers spread through the village. Some claimed to have seen Simba lingering near the river where Django had first found him, his great head bowed as if in prayer. Others swore they heard his mournful roars at night, echoing across the plains like a lament. But the lion did not return to the village. Instead, he wandered, lost in a way no wild creature should be. He did not hunt. He did not roar in challenge to other males. He moved like a ghost, his golden eyes dull with grief. The other lions of the savannah kept their distance, sensing something unnatural in his sorrow. Part 2. The Empty Den. Weeks passed. The rains came, turning the dry earth to mud, and still, Simba did not leave the lands near Mambwe. He avoided the village, but he did not venture far. One evening, As the sun bled red across the horizon, he found himself at the mouth of a shallow cave, a place he and Django had often rested in during the healer's herb-gathering journeys. The scent of the man still lingered faintly in the air, buried beneath the musk of dust and time. Simba hesitated, then stepped inside. The cave was empty. No fire, no blankets, no low, warm voice greeting him. Only silence. With a deep, shuddering breath, the lion lay down in the spot where Django used to sit. He pressed his nose against the ground, inhaling the fading traces of his friend. Then, for the first time since a funeral, he closed his eyes and slept. Part 3. The Dream of the Past. In his dreams, Simba was a cub again. He felt the sharp agony of the trap's teeth around his leg, the terror of being alone and helpless. Then, warm hands. A voice, soft but firm. Easy, little one. Easy. Django's face swam into view. Younger, his dark eyes crinkled with kindness. He remembered the pain fading, the slow healing, the first time he had limped beside the man on unsteady legs. He remembered the day Django had led him to the river and said, "You are strong now. The wild is where you belong." And he remembered, despite his freedom, always finding his way back. Simba stirred in his sleep, a low whine escaping his throat. Part 4. The Village's Decision. Meanwhile, in Mambwe, the elders gathered in council. "The lion grieves," murmured old Mama Nia, her voice trembling. "Just as we do." "It is not natural," argued Mosi, the hunter. "A beast does not mourn like a man. He will turn dangerous in his pain." But Rafiki, Django's eldest friend, shook his head. That lion loved him, and Django loved him in return. We would be fools, or cowards, to dish into that. A silence fell. Then, slowly, the elders nodded. The next morning, a small offering was left at the edge of the village, a bundle of fresh meat in Django's old, worn cloak, still carrying his scent. Part 5. The Acceptance. Simba found the offering at dawn. He approached cautiously, his ears twitching at the distant murmurs of the villagers watching from a safe distance. The scent of the cloak struck him like a physical blow, and for a moment he simply stood there, breathing it in. Then, with a gentleness that belied his size, he took the cloak in his jaws and carried it away. Back to the cave, back to the only home he had left. That night, curled around the fabric that still smelled of his friend, Simba finally lifted his head and roared, not in sorrow, but in memory, in gratitude. And far away, in the village, the people of Mambwe heard it, and they understood. Years later, travelers passing through Mambwe would hear the tale of the lion who mourned like a man. Some would scoff. Others would listen, their eyes drifting to the savannah beyond the village, wondering. But the elders knew the truth. And sometimes, on quiet nights when the wind carried just right, they would swear they heard the distant echo of a lion's roar, not of hunger, not of battle, but of love. And they would smile,